Namaste. The video for today is whether spiritualism is a hoax or not. There's so much of confusion in the subject of spiritualism that it has become necessary, I feel, to discuss on this part. Why? Because liberally everybody is using the word spirit, soul, spiritual. And if you ask them what does a soul is, what does it mean, or what role does it play, they have no answer. Whether it's for the spirit, whether it's for the soul, or whether it's for whatever. Any fundamental ABCs of the subject of spiritualism. So, for the masses, yes, the spirituality or the subject of spiritualism is a hoax. And the masses, they range about 99% of the population. A very, very few serious spiritual seekers today who are really interested in this subject to understand the deep meaning of life, the ultimate nature of our being, the ultimate nature of reality, the self-inquiry as to who you are beyond your body and mind, because you're not that, otherwise you wouldn't be saying my body, my mind, meaning it's yours and you're somebody else. So, seekers are very few. And the masses are so involved in materialism, in their me and mine, egocentric, living in fear and insecurity, chaos and misery, depression and anxiety, having no idea as to how to go beyond. And spiritualism is the subject of the beyond of all beyond. It speaks your relationship with the universe. It speaks of that oneness, that fullness, that wholesomeness, that absoluteness, which we are not concerned about. As to how we all are interconnected, interrelated, interdependent with Mother Earth. We are not interested. Busy destroying the ecology and the nature of this earth. So, what happens? The subject of spirituality, of spiritualism, is so tarnished with methods, techniques, self-help methods. Motivational speakers are taking full advantage. Spiritual masters, artists, celebrities, giving their own opinions, their own interpretations of the ancient scriptures, vandalizing, taking reference, taking support, blindly taking support, giving reference, taking the easy way out that this is what was referred by, say, the Bhagavad Gita or the Ramayana or whatnot, whatever they want they say, and connect it to that and get away and get an applaud. And the audience or the readers are impressed, imitating, interpreting in the manner that they feel like. So, gradually it has to turn into a hoax, because the spirit or the soul is the metaphysical realm. It's the self which is beyond the physical self and the thinking self. It is beyond that. It is that divine within you for which the ancient scriptures credited us as human beings as the highest living creatures, referring as that art thou. We had that divine within to check the randomness and recklessness of our thoughts, multitasking into this and that. It has given us that ability to check within our own thoughts, our own mind, and correct it, which the other creatures can't. It has given us the power of choice. Animals can't choose. We can choose. We can analyze, we can evaluate and choose. We can experience and choose. We can do what not. We have the most phenomenal mind out of that nominal spirit, which provides that. Whereas the masses are concerned only in dualism, of this and that, of happiness and sadness, churning in the vicious cycle of pleasure and pain, good and bad, positive and negative, and morality and conscious. So, what happens? There's always, when there is happiness, there's always a shadow of its duality, that is relativity and opposite, lurking behind. And we do not know how to get out of that roller coaster ride. So, that's what the masses are. They're basically followers of others' experiences, blindly following, not questioning. A spiritual seeker will always question, will always doubt, will always reason to whatever he's told, irrespective of who, whether he's wearing a turban, whether he's wearing a saffron robe, whether he's accredited with many degrees and whatnot, prefixes added in front of his name. He will question, he will not agree easily. He will need to understand with clarity. That's what spiritualism is all about, understanding with clarity. It is not experiential. Experiential is a mental process to experience through your consciousness, subconsciously, primarily. That's what the neuroscientists are saying. Our mind functions on auto mode from memory and intellect, unconsciously in a subconscious manner, whereby we don't even know what we are doing. We have become the puppets of our mind. And then we say we are spiritual. And that is why the masses are suffering. We are all suffering today. Whether we agree to it or not, in some way or the other, nobody is fully, wholesomely happy. There is no peace of mind. We connect the subject of spiritualism to self-help, to religion. Religion, of course, was designed by our ancient sages to pass on the message of the subject of spiritualism. Spiritualism was the theory and religion was its practice. But look at it today. It reeks of separatism. Your own human God, superior than the other human God of another person. It's more of an identity today. Like your name and gender, your religion, your country. These are all identities. Your community. With the feeling, egoist feeling that mine is better than yours. Mine is more supreme than yours. My God is more powerful than yours. Where is the spiritualism? In spiritualism, there is no human God. There is no gender. There is no name. God is simply a supreme energy, which is omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent, interconnected, interrelated. It is not in the form of a human God. So we have gone astray. That is why the subject of spiritualism is a hoax, because it is so it connected to religion today that religion dominates spiritualism, which is just the opposite. Science and religion both come out of their part, they are the objective of the subject of life. And spiritualism is that subject of life. Okay, it may be a philosophy, but that philosophy is gradually turning into science. Imagine the ancient sages saying that all that exists is one and not two. Brahm, that is what is quantum physics today saying. All that exists is energy. Inspired by these ancient scriptures. So how can you say that spiritualism is not the subject of life and it's not the absolute subject in totality of everything? Your being in body and mind and your becoming in consciousness is not everything. It's not everything. Your being is mechanical. Your mind is mechanical, running in subconscious manner over 98% of the time. So you cannot say your being is everything. And you cannot say your becoming is everything. Because nobody is ever enlightened. Nobody. Enlightening is a process which never ends. It's a continuous process. So you can't say anybody is enlightened. Okay, anybody may be wise. All these human gods were of higher consciousness. They were enlightened to a certain extent. To a certain extent, they were enlightened. Even they had their drawbacks. They were human beings with a human mind, with a name and gender, and duality. It's only non-duality which is absolute, which is one and not two. So, it's like that. And when we talk of the self, and we say that the spirit of the soul is supreme, higher above than the mind and the body, then that spiritual self, going through a human experience, does not require an experiential life. It is already the experienced. What it requires is only awakening. That's all. The awakening of the soul, the awakening of the spirit, to activate the mind. So, that is what it is. The self requires awakening for self-enlightening, for self-transformation, to, in the end, to self-realization that there is no self. There is no self. The spirit is universal. It has no self. And that is who we are. That beingness, that presence of beingness within us. And that beingness is that awareness which activates our mind, triggers it alive. Our mechanical eyes, where the light energy enters through the retina and how the signal is picked up and carried through neural pathways from neurons into various sections of the mind. How it is decoded and determined into information. It's all a job of awareness, how aware you are. And that awareness is that spirit. It unfolds everything. God is there because you say so. Awareness is there. Awareness unfolds everything. Universe is there because you are aware of it. The sun and the moon is there because you are aware of it. You don't bang against the door in your room because you are aware of it. Everything depends on your awareness. It is the sum of who you are. The intensity of individual awareness which is there within you awakened. And self-realization never means God-realization. Sorry, it does not mean that. Self-realization means that you are the spirit. It connects to the universal self, not to the individual self. It connects to the universal self, and that is what the subject of spiritualism is, which the masses are not concerned. They are only concerned with the material. They are only concerned with the ego. They are only concerned with the name, fame and power. The masses, which includes 99% or more than 99%, I cannot give a percentage, but it includes all of us, that we are only concerned with whether I see a guru, I see a spiritual celebrity, I see anybody. All concerned with the name, fame and the image and the prefixes that they add before their name. So it all depends on whether you are a follower, a blind believer, or whether you are living your life not with your intellect, which is borrowed knowledge from here and there, but with your intelligence, your unique intelligence which you have, whether you are living with that. A spiritualist is concerned, is silent. Silent means does not think much, does not rely on his thoughts, which constantly keeps changing. A spiritualist is existential. He lives from one moment to the next, in the present. His thoughts are always of the past, stuck in the past, going into the future. That's for the masses. A spiritualist will live, not think, live from one moment to the next, spontaneously and effortlessly. Experiencing is for the mind. So that's how it is. And that's what you should be concerned about. Whether you wish to be a spiritual seeker or not. But if you're not a spiritual seeker, please do not randomly and loosely use this word spirit, spiritual, soul, etc., etc. If you really wish to know the nature of reality, the nature of your being, the nature of your becomingness, the nature of your beingness, both are essential, the material and the spiritual. Both are essential. But today, we have an immense imbalance between the material and the spiritual. It is totally material in the garb of claiming that you are spiritual. That's why it's a hoax. It's imbalanced. And that is why the world is imbalanced. And that is why we unconsciously are destroying our own planet. And we require to know and understand this subject very seriously, because this subject is only to be understood with clarity. The rest follows effortlessly. Once you understand, your superconscious section awakens. And when it is awakened, your mind becomes aware. And after that, it becomes conscious. And after that, you will consciously not do anything which is incorrect or unfavorable. Thank you.